What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with...
You're one ugly motherfucker.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at some more Diablo 3 Season 28 build-up material. This is going to be the Demon Hunter Starter Guide. Season 28 is the Rites of Sanctuary. We've got a whole new mechanic, Altar of Rites, which is going to give us an awful lot of GR tier and power. We get to unlock it as we go. It's going to be a pretty fun season all in all, I think. So let's get going. So what we're going to do today, we're going to take you from level 1, brand new character on a season, to end game, full altar unlocked, or if you prefer, from 0 to hero, beta soy boy to alpha giga chad. Probably a little bit of a dry video. I'll try and put some clips or memes or jokes or whatever. Depends how many things I shove my own foot into my mouth and mess up. But we'll try and make it as interesting as we can.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
As always, timestamps will be in the description if you want to hop about the video. I will link this document for you so you can flick through it at your leisure. And I will put some video links and D3 planners in the description to help you out. As always, likes brighten my day. Thumbs up always greatly appreciated, particularly on these longer videos that do take a bit more time to make. Right, so the first thing for Season 28 Demon Hunter is we're going to get the Gears of Dreadlands, which is the spin to win Demon Hunter build. Now, I called this as the fastest start before it was buffed. I think it's a really strong set. It's now been buffed, it's even stronger still. I think it's a really strong start because it's so easy to set up. You need very few pieces to get almost quote-unquote an end game Gears of Dreadlands Demon Hunter going. It will completely smash T16 and wipe the floor with it. And I think ultimately it will be a very good speed build around the kind of 100 to 110 range. It'll just depend on how much juice you give your character, gems, augments and that kind of thing. Full altar unlock with this is going to be super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
And it's going to give you really fast progression because you've got a lot of move speed with the Gears of Dreadlands Demon Hunter, and that makes unlocking the altar very doable and fast. Right, what's new for Season 28? Well, for leveling, an absolute crap ton. I've never seen there be so much, not controversy, but discussion, theory crafting around leveling. And basically it all boils down to the Altar of Rites, which is, of course, the season theme. So there are a couple of things that can impact leveling: double kill streaks and double XP bonus. So basically when you do massacre bonus leveling, you have to do this outside rifts, but as you chain kill streaks together, you get a bonus XP at the end. The kill streaks are going to last twice as long, so you've got twice as long to get them done, and you also get double XP when you do pop them. So if you're good at massacre bonus leveling, you're just going to find leveling this season even easier. Items potentially have no level requirement. You will either have to use your challenge rift bag or do some very uncasual friendly stuff. But you can basically equip level 70 items on your character, which will allow you to blast to 70 very quickly. There is also pools of reflection being a permanent mechanic, so they stay after you die and never run out. Somebody did point out after the Necro video that this probably sounds better than it is because of the way the XP scaling in the game is. Like the vast majority of your XP on your 1 to 70 is very much between 68 and 70, so the pool's not really doing much in terms of heavy lifting, but it is a little bit faster for you there. So this is the season theme. This is the Altar of Rites. It is located in Tristram, and we're going to basically fill in the left hand side here with the cost. So this is the cost to unlock each node, and these are the nodes that we can go down. So node number 1, 10 reusable parts. You can just nick some gear off the follower, salvage it, and you've got 10 reusable parts, and you can get the double kill streak bonus. Then next you're going to need 2 flawless diamonds. They will open up at 18 because you can craft 2 diamonds into a flawless, and that will allow you to do node 2, which most people I think are going to go for this no item level requirement. And that's regardless of whether you take the challenge rift bag and use it to level or not. But yeah, obviously I'm sure you can see level 70 stuff is going to be really powerful early on in the game. Now, this is the early part of the altar kind of zoomed in, and as you can see, we're going to get stuck here at unlock 3, because you need 1 greater rift key to open up the 3rd node. So you would go down here for move speed, but you can't do it until you get to 70. But the other two are open. Now, if you do use your challenge rift cache to make this whole process much easier and faster, you'll get stalled out on the altar at level 15, and you won't be able to unlock any further nodes until the challenge rift resets. So this is the big question, really. Should you use your challenge rift bag for leveling, or should you save it and use it for the altar later? Now, again, this is developed over time. Initially, Rax sort of said he thinks 99% of the player base should just use your challenge rift cache for leveling. You'll blast your way to 70 super fast, and it just is the best choice to do. He obviously won't do that because he's an end game blaster. He'll be saving his either way. But his advice, I think, to the community was you should probably just use it. Wadijo, on the other hand, made a video around about the same time saying, look, you really want to save this because it's going to actually be not too bad to level without it, and you don't want people blasting past you. You want to get this unlocked ASAP, the whole altar, because you want the season power, and you don't want to be living the weekend without it. Personally, I'm going to save mine, but that might not be the right thing for you. I'm going to go through a little bit of it. So if you do use it, so if you get your challenge rift bag as normal, you pop it and you gobble up all the goodies. Well, from level 18, once you've got that diamond, the flawless diamond to unlock, you can basically craft level 70 items, and that will blast you to 70 in about 30 minutes. Now, what a lot of people are suggesting doing is basically making a necromancer and run the necromancer up to level 18, because Necro's got some really OP skills early on, like corpse explosion and death nova. And once you get to 18, once you've got your diamond, you then swap to your main class, make your level 70 items, and then blast to 70, because from 1 to 18 on Torment 6 is going to be only a few kills. You'll be there in like a couple of minutes. If you do use your challenge rift bag to help you level, you'll get your multipliers as normal. You can upgrade legendaries as normal, but you will get stuck at tier 15 on the altar until the challenge rift resets. You do need to bear in mind sometimes these challenge rifts can be toxic, particularly if you're an EU player. Sometimes they are quite hard to do. So again, maybe have a little think. It is a little bit of a risk, I think, using it. But if, let's say, you do decide that you're going to pop the challenge rift bag, this is where you're going to stall out. So you're going to need all these things here on the left in green to unlock all of these nodes. Now, this is definitely not the only way to unlock this altar, but I think the preferred path that I want to take would be down here. So double kill streaks, no item level requirement, move speed, health shield, elite damage, double bounties. Going to pick that up early because bounty mats do form part of the rest of the altar unlocks, and bounties is really handy to get. We're going to be farming potentially some bounties whilst doing staff of herding farming. We also need to get all three nodes here unlocked, so CC immunity, pass ability and damage. That's so that we can unlock one of these nodes on this row, because we want all three potion powers ASAP. The potions are very powerful for next season. Power pylons, 25% damage reduction, and triune circles. But my main goal is really early on to get here, double legendaries from Kadala, because I want to set up multiple classes, multiple builds, and getting twice as many legendary items is going to be pretty handy for us. Now, you can obviously fiddle about with this. It's linked in the description. You might want to take a slightly different path, to each their own, is what I say. If you do save it, so if you don't use it to level, you can still unlock the node with the level 18 diamond trick. Again, you might want to start Necro to get to this point and then swap. Extra kill streak bonuses will help you for leveling. Just beware on console, these don't work the same. So on console, you don't get the same number of XP. I think it's limited to normal XP only. So just bear that in mind. You could grab the Pool of Reflection node, but as I say earlier comments, maybe that's not as good as it sounds. You can be pretty RNG with your drops. But importantly, if you do save it, you can still get access to the level 70 items. Obviously, you can unlock nodes too, but your issue is going to be how do you craft them. And that's where a little bit of jiggery pokery is going to come in that we will talk about later. So, you can do Pools of Reflection, but I think actually on my own Pool of Reflection, I think unlocking level 70 items is probably going to be the way to go. I mean, if you're going to save the challenge rift and you're going to go for it, there are some issues, I think, potentially with it, but it still probably makes sense. Now, this was my other suggestion for not using the challenge rift bag, maybe grabbing the XP pools and 200 damage, and then once you get to 70, then the XP pool is giving you 25% XP, so you'll get more Paragon points faster at 70. 200 damage at 70 is pretty nice to have, but again, I think ultimately, if you're going to save the challenge rift bag, you're probably the kind of person who wants to get all of this unlocked, so you probably want to go for the try hard strategy of getting no level reduction, or no level requirement rather, and blasting all the way up to 70 ASAP. So again, we'll talk a little bit about that later. How long will it take you to max out the altar? I've kind of estimated about 24 hours game time. I've seen other people suggest 20. It will be dependent on RNG. Staff of Herding in particular is going to be a bottleneck. It takes a while to farm up the materials for that. We are also reliant on some ancient drops, so ancient hellfire, ancient puzzle ring. But one of the new things this season is we can craft our own primals. So maybe we can use the primal salvage material to make a primal puzzle ring, slap it in the altar and skip this one. I'm not sure on hellfire. I don't think you can reforge them in the cube, so whether you'll be able to use the recipe or not, I do not know. And I think it's probably more like 8 or 9 hours game time until level 15 on the altar. So if you know you're going to play casually across the course of the weekend, maybe 10 or 11 hours, then I think that's a much stronger argument to use your challenge rift bag. If you know you want to go super ham and you're going to be doing, 5-6 hours Friday night, 10 hours Saturday, 10 hours Sunday, you're definitely going to be much more in the saving challenge rift category. So should you save it? Should you use it? Well, look, I always say the most important thing here is having fun. Having fun while you're playing the game. Slow leveling, if it annoys you, use the challenge rift bag. You can also pre-farm the rest of the materials for the altar and have them ready, good to go once the challenge rift resets. But if you want to be as strong as possible and play with as much power early on, you want to save it. So I kind of think 90% of the player base should use it. But again, we'll talk a little bit about what to do if you're going to save it. Bit of a try-hard strategy. What else is new for Season 28? Well, the altar is going to give you some pretty nutty buffs once you've got the nodes unlocked. Notably, double bounties, always really handy for reforging, making more builds, just generally helpful for us. Double DBs, this is something we've had in the game for a while with the Sages set, so we don't necessarily get too excited about this, but if you get that node unlocked, then you don't have to worry about Sages on the follower. Double legendaries at Kadala, which, as I say, I think early on is very impactful for making builds. And then once you get everything unlocked, you're going to get double primals. And that, to me, is just fantastic. I love primals, so I'm really excited for this. In terms of the power level, I've seen some people say 4 to 5 GR tiers of power. That was kind of how I felt about it on PTR. But I know Rax is kind of pushing, maybe it's more of a 10 tier power increase. I'm not sure. It might be somewhere in between. Again, it probably depends on builds. It depends on how much they benefit from certain nodes, things like that. But it's certainly going to be a lot of power for everything, and it affects pretty much most things equally. We've also got some nice quality of life changes, auto pickup and salvage. So auto pickup of DBs, auto pickup of really low level items, so like yellow items, and auto salvaging and that kind of stuff. So quality of life wise, it's going to be a fun season. Demon Hunter specific changes for season 28. Well, Gears of Dreadland has been buffed. Yui has got an absolutely massive buff. Really fun to see multi-shot make a comeback in a good way. Natalia has also been completely reworked. This is now a spike drop build. We haven't had a chance to test this because the version that was on PTR is completely different to the version that is going to live. So as of, I think, the next day or two from me recording this, we will have a patch, so we will get a chance to test it. It's highly likely it's going to be S tier. So we've got a buffed up Gears of Dreadlands, Yui big buff, Natalia complete rework. There's 3 interesting newish kind of things to do. You've also got Marauders, which is pretty good. We can craft our own primal next season. When we salvage primal items, we get Primordial Ash. We can use that in the cube to upgrade an item to a primal. We can only equip 1 of these crafted primals per character, but we can make as many as we want. We can only just use 1 at a time. Perma XP buff via the pools of reflections we talked about earlier is going to be pretty huge. You're going to probably get the most Paragon you've ever had. Obviously, if you kept your game time roughly the same, this extra XP is just going to be particularly powerful as the season goes on. Oh dear, look at this. Nova Necro benefits from boss damage a lot. I obviously haven't edited that out from the last video.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
And solo 150 achievable Necro for casuals. We'll get this changed. Solo 150 on Demon Hunter. Again, it depends where this Natalia is. I don't know how difficult it's going to be to play. Don't know how complex. I don't know how powerful it's going to be. But I would expect it to be an S tier. GoD 150, I don't really see. UE 150, again, maybe not. Marauders, I think, has got a shout. Always it depends on Paragon, gem levels, augments, that type of thing. But yeah, that's quite funny. Right, important dates. Season starts 24th of February. Do not, Big Red, do not do your challenge rift on the 20th of Feb when it resets. Otherwise, you're going to be quite upset because you're going to not get the altar unlocked and you're going to have a really miserable time leveling. First steps once the season is live, create or rebirth a character. I like to log in to the season, that way I know the game definitely has picked up my character. I'll then go and beat the challenge rift. Rax and Wadiju both do decent guides on this. Equip a pet for the auto pickup. Dress yourself up nice if you like. In terms of the challenge rift bag, if you are going to spend it, so you're going to use it to make leveling easier, well, you do get quite a lot of materials, so you can craft some early weapons. So you can make a two-handed bow if you want to stay on a Demon Hunter. You can make weapons for Necro if you're going to try and get up to 18 on Necro and then switch back to the Demon Hunter, which, I don't know how much time that's going to save you, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 20. It depends on how good you are on Necro, how good you are on Demon Hunter. But importantly, you're going to be able to craft this level 70 stuff once you've opened your goodie bag, because you'll be able to fully train the artisans and get all that kind of stuff. You'll still have DBs to do an upgrade in the cube if you want to. You'll have gold for buying vendor gear early on. That'll help you blast up to 18, and you can have 475 blood shards to spend. Early steps, take the follower's weapon. You can unlock node 1 of the altar. You can buy some life per second gear from the vendor if you've opened your challenge rift bag. Again, that'll help you get to 18, so this could be on DH, it could be on Necro with a switch. Boss bounties are always nice. Magda's on cool very start of the game to help you get some materials and also to get some items. You need to get the cube reasonably early, so Act 3 Runes of Sescheron. Again, Necro switch seems to be meta, so make a Necro, go and get the cube with the Necro, blast yourself up to 18, and then swap onto your Demon Hunter after that. And obviously you want to train Hadrig and the Mystic up to full. Upgrading a weapon. This is a lot less impactful this season if you're using the challenge rift bag, because whilst you can still do the dagger and get a guaranteed multiplier, so Carly's points buffing up Impale, Lord Greenstone's fan buffing up Fan of Knives, neither of these pair with the Gears of Dreadlands, and you might just be absolutely fine with a level 70 weapon, level 70 satchel, and a few other level 70 items. So maybe, even though you do get the guaranteed multiplier with this, maybe it won't be needed as much. So it might be worthwhile using your upgrade on something like a bow to try and get a Yang's, or a satchel to try and get a Siri satchel to pair up with your Gears of Dreadlands when you do get to 70. In terms of blood shard spending, if you want to spend these early on, you can go for braces and get Wraps of Clarity. Pretty high chance of getting those. Damage reduction is always kind of handy once you get to 70 and you start scaling up the difficulty. It's a nice item to have. There's a few quivers that open in the pool at like 30, 31. You probably don't need to be messing about with these, particularly this season, because again, neither of them go with the Gears of Dreadlands. It could be a big brain strategy to just spend your blood shards on your Necro, get Corpse Explosion gloves, stick them in the cube, and then you've definitely got to 18 like super fast, and then jump on your Demon Hunter with its level 70 items, which you'll need nothing more. But again, that's something to think about. Lyrics Crown is always a good item to pick up at kind of like level 1, because it'll give you up to double XP, which will help you out. Poxfold, some Massacre bonus leveling. Again, this has probably dropped off this season because we've got so much power with the level 70 items. So I think honestly, if I was going to pop my challenge rift bag for leveling, I just save the blood shards, I'd craft level 70 items, and I would just get to 70 and then spend the shards then. If you do absolutely have to spend them on the Demon Hunter, I think braces is probably the way to go. Right, the level 70 items is by far the most important thing for leveling, so you need to craft as much as you can. Generally, you're going to look for main stat, so which is dexterity for the Demon Hunter, or vitality, because this will output you a lot of damage and also make you quite tanky to survive Torment 6. You can reroll these stats, and I wouldn't recraft looking for them because recrafting is expensive. Another stat actually that's quite important that I haven't put on is plus XP. Again, I probably wouldn't go for re-rolling it, but if you get it on any items, it's kind of nice. You'll then completely crush your way to 70 on Torment 6, and you can also consider just making a Sage's set immediately at level 18 and slapping it on your character for the stats boost and double DBs once you get past level 61. But the important thing is you can still craft level 70 items even if you save your Challenge Rift bag. Now, when I made the Necro video, I wasn't entirely sure how this worked, but I've done a little bit of digging over the last couple of days. And basically we will need a DB from a Torment 1 bounty, maybe Act 2, maybe any of the acts is fine, but definitely Torment 1. And what that will allow us to do is to train up Hadrig so that we can get a level 60 weapon and then a level 70 weapon after that. Now, doing a Torment 1 bounty is going to be almost impossible without a Challenge Rift cache unless you do some jiggery pokey.
What the hell did you just say?
Jiggery pokey. Jiggery pokey with snapshotting waypoints. So the theory is that you load up the game on Torment 1 as a level 1 character. When you get in, you are then going to basically teleport to all the waypoints for the bounties. That will then get the game to code the monsters at Torment 1 level 1. Then you're going to try and level yourself up to like level 11 or something like that. You will be powerful. The monsters will still be level 1, so you should be able to get the T1 bounty done. That'll give you a cache, and inside it will be a solitary Death's Breath, which will allow you to train up the blacksmith and therefore craft higher level items. It's not overly casual, and the reason I say this is because you have to get the snapshotting right, and if you mess up and miss one out, you're going to be in problems. If the game disconnects you at any point during this time, you're going to end up in problems because you might have got like half of the bounties done and then you get kicked out. But Wadidio's done a bunch of examples for runs with not using the Challenge of Cash and still getting to 70 in like an hour, 90 minutes. So again, as I say, as a casual player and casual recommendation, I probably wouldn't be doing this, but you absolutely can do it if you want to, and that would save your Challenge Rift bag, which will come in handy later, obviously. In general, tips for leveling areas: Halls of Agony, Fields of Misery early on are decent massacre bonusing places, but for the last few seasons, Temple of the Firstborn in Act 2 has been where it's at. I expect to be seeing a lot of this when leveling on opening night. Runes of Sescheron, if you get bored, Cursed Chests can be kind of nice. So you can normally get a big kill streak going in there. And then rifting, consoles, yes, PC, no, because remember, for rifts on PC, you don't get any kill streak bonuses. And I think also the kill streak bonus for console doesn't apply quite the same, but rifting is still probably going to be your best bet on console for leveling. So basically the tip is get to 18 as fast as you can, unlock that second node of the altar. So that could be Necro and swapping on to Demon Hunter, or straight up Demon Hunter, whichever you prefer. Necro probably will be a bit faster. Combining your diamonds to make the flawless diamonds, obviously key. You're going to have to do your boss bounty to make sure you get a couple of diamonds. Zoltan Cool, Magda, that type of thing. Red Gem in the Helm is going to be more impactful, I think, if you don't have all the level 70 gear and T6. And a red gem in the weapon is probably a lot less impactful if you've got a level 60, level 70 weapon or whatever. But in general, if you don't, and you can try and do it without the Challenge Rift bag, and you don't actually have access to higher weapons, then red gem in there is handy. Buying rings and amulet with plus damage, you can wait till 61 if you're using the Challenge Rift cache to level, because realistically it'll only start to make a bit of an impact at this point. and you can maybe look out for it a little bit earlier if you're not. For cursed chest tips and leveling, I tend to explore the full zone looking for resplendent chests. Again, if you're completely geared up with a bunch of level 70 items, this is a waste of time, you don't need to do it. But early on, if you're still trying to get to 18, it can be nice to pick up those little gear boosts along the way. Damage over time range skills make it easier. Demon Hunter is a range class, so it doesn't have too hard of a time doing the massacre bonusing, and any kind of AoE skill obviously is nice as well. If at some point you do need gear boosts, you can always go back and do another boss bounty. Again, with the level 70 stuff you should have, we might not need it. Demon Hunter skills for leveling, this depends, I guess, on whether you've used your challenge of cash, what you've got out of it, what drops you get, but in general, Chakram I think is probably pretty underrated. Really good AoE skill, good coverage, and then Vault for mobility and speed. Ban of Knives to remove the cooldown is generally a pretty good shout as well. Now, once you're at 70, which hopefully speaking won't be too long if you've popped your challenge of bag or if you're doing the funky leveling stuff, you're going to start getting Gears of Dreadlands. So you do your season journey and you basically get your GoD pieces. It's T16, super fast, very, very viable, really early on. It's a 2-piece, we gain 4 seconds of momentum when attacking with a primary skill, maximum duration of 20 seconds, primary skills deal 10% per momentum stack, so 200% damage on a 2-piece, that's pretty good. Most 2-pieces in this game are not very nice. 4-piece we get a bunch of speed, so we get 8 times 20, so 160% move speed, that's absolutely godly. It'll make you getting the 6-piece so much faster because you'd be zipping around everywhere. And then the 6-piece is OMG DPS because it used to be pretty good back when it was 10,000 before it's buff up to 15, and for next season it's actually going to be 27,500, not 15,000, so pretty big damage increase. And once you get the supporting items, you will be flying. You can craft a Sage's set if you haven't already done that at 18. Stats boost, extra DBs, chuck it to your follower after you are done with it or have outgrown it. You complete the season journey ASAP, looking to get these Gears of Dreadlands pieces, and also you work on the altar progression with all the kind of lists that we've had on screen previously. And if you did not already, you can always make a level 1 Demon Hunter, get a Raps of Clarity, and you can stick them in the cube for 50% damage reduction. As for upgrades, so finding things on the ground, sticking them in the cube and turning them into a legendary item. Hungering Arrow modifiers are what we want, so that is the 9th Siri Satchel, which is by far the most important. Then the Hunter's Wrath, which is a belt, and the Depth Digger's Pants. So I would probably be doing Satchel, and then I'm looking for these two. Probably ahead of weapons. If you've got no legendary bows or crossbows or anything like that, one-handed bows, you can insert a weapon in here, maybe after Hunter's Wrath. Maybe before it. The damage is kind of nice from a legendary weapon, but you will find one eventually, and none of the weapons are actually modifiers for Hungering Arrow, but these 3 things here are. Other upgrades you can consider after that is Rings and Amulets, Convention of Elements, Stone of Jordan, Focus Restraint, Squirts, Necklace, all add damage to your build. And then weapons, as we say, we're looking for Dawn for Vengeance, cooldown reduction, Fortress Ballista for a shield, these are both one-handed crossbows, and Yang's is a 2-handed bow, looking for resource cost reduction, mainly for T16 and bounties, but these are the kind of things that you're thinking about investing your DBs in once you've found your Gears of Dreadlands modifiers. In terms of blood shards spending at 70, again we're still focused on the modifiers, so Siri Satchel, so all your blood shards go on satchels at level 70, looking for this. Once you've got it, you then move on to Hunter's Wrath belt. Once you've got that, you then move on to Depth Diggers. Once you've got that, you then move on to the rings, again looking for damage stuff, and maybe that ancient puzzle ring to help with altar unlock progression. In terms of a shopping list post 70, there's not really much that you need, to be honest. Crimsons and Guardians are always nice to have from doing bounties. These come into Unhallowed Essence a lot more. You can use Guardians with Gears of Dreadlands. It's a decent enough kick in power, but you don't need to. The Gears of Dreadlands on a complete budget without anything is absolutely fine. Ring of Raw Grandeur is always handy, just allows you to do a little bit more with your build, replace one item. You need to start picking up legendary gems from doing rifts, gold wrap for T16, and then Natalia or UE pieces, again just because maybe we want to play some of those buffed up and changed builds for Demon Hunter. Now if, let's say, you're in the 90% and you're going to use your Challenge Rift bag for leveling, then this is kind of maybe where your altar will be, around about where you get stuck for the Challenge Rift. You can have quite a decent amount of bonuses here, so that, you know, it's not like you're getting no power. And then whilst there are extra damage and also pick up and elite damage and stuff like this to pick up later, it's not the end of the world to get stuck here, but this is maybe kind of what you're looking at. In terms of a budget Gears of Dreadland build, this is kind of how you could set it up. Now, it does have a rogue in this particular one. You don't need a rogue. The Hunter's Wrath belt can go on the character. Gears of Dreadland's trousers can go here. You just obviously would be a little squishy without a gold wrap. But the only thing you really need is the Siri Satchel, Hunter's Wrath belt, and Depth Diggers. The Yang's Recurve is very nice to have, but you don't need it. Any damage rings will be very beneficial for you, but you don't need them. And any amulet with double crit on will be absolutely fantastic. Just take any amulet you get to start off with. And again, Dawn in the Cube for Vengeance uptime is nice, but by no means mandatory. You can do Fortress Ballista for a shield. You can do Valors for more damage. There's quite a lot you can do. Simplicity Strength is Legendary Gem to buff up. You can do Bane of the Trapped. The Boon of the Hoarder is here for move speed, gold, and gold wrap activation. Bane of the Powerful is more damage. You can even roll up his eyes if you say, well, I know I'm going to swap onto multi-shot. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. We've covered Gears of Dreadlands so many times on the channel. We've literally got about 10 videos on it, I think. Right, that is it. Gears of Dreadlands, honestly, there is absolutely nothing to it. Once you've got the supporting pieces, you'll be able to do the 110 solo clear required to unlock the altar, which is the highest requirement. The rest of it is just going to be farming up whatever the list tells you. GR keys, DBs, blood shards, whatever it is, this build will absolutely do it all. In the video description, we will put the Why is the Demon Hunter a Great Start, which is like the T16 budget Gears of Dreadlands, and also a little bit more of an end-gamey, faster version. GR110 UE speeds. Bear in mind, actually, that Gears of Dreadlands has got double damage, essentially, almost thereabouts, since filming that, so that's quite funny. UE T16 is also fun if you get a little bored of spinning to winning, and I'm definitely starting a Demon Hunter, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to use the Challenge Rift bag, but I think the other people in my group are, so I'm going to basically be carried, which is going to be handy for me. Haven't put in here you can play ZDH. That's again another consideration if you're grouping. It makes this class even better to start, but really we're just kind of focused on solo, I guess, really here. Right, so that is the video. Thank you very much for giving me your time and attention. I hope this was useful. Feedback is always welcome. Are there any future videos you would like to see for on the season? I'm going to do a wizard starter guide as well. Hopefully that will be in the next day or so. As always, like, subscribe, and any super thanks, tips, cheers, whatever, keeps the dream alive and are greatly appreciated. I've been the Filthy Casual. I'll see you again real soon. Take it easy. Peace.